That pushed us back a little bit, waiting for.
Hey, sorry about.
All right. Party people in the place to be, vandals, and whatever else might be chilling in the chat room, drunk or sober or otherwise. We don't care. We're undiscerning. But tonight we have a brand new special super rockin' episode of Pink Buzz with an all-star panel. Joining me, Johnny, tonight, we have, of course, Joey Paquette. And from the bottom right, go ahead and introduce yourself. And we
Oh,
got
I'm on it right.
Magnum. Yeah. You got the Hawaiian shirt on.
Hey, I'm Adriean Koleric. I'm the creator of the comic book series Trakovi, and I'm here to talk about Variance.
Cookies in the house. Dean's in the house.
What's going on, everybody? Sergio from the House of Nerd Show, here to talk variants with you fine gents. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I'm Elle, not exactly legit on Twitter, and I'm just here. Oh, and I'm on House of Nerds. Sorry, Sergio.
Yeah.
Wow.
I put my mind.
Jeez.
This is Goose's mom in the house, too. Right on.
Yeah. Mel's in the house. As usual, Joe here. I'm here almost every week. 00 Joe Paquette on Twitter. I'm starting to try to get on Instagram and Facebook a little more, so you could probably see me on there a little more often. I'm going to try to make an effort, try to reach out to as many people as possible that tune into the show.
That. I said, look at Joey on Instagram. Okay.
I spent 10 years off social media, so, I'm slowly learning to get back into the groove,
Way to go, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck.
This is a mega team up episode because, like was pointed out, we have the House of Nerds with us tonight. This is the first of many team ups we're going to be doing in the near future, and I'm really excited because Sergio is kind of a variant expert in my opinion. He kind of flips and deals with these things on a regular basis, so he's going to be very knowledgeable on the subject. But we're just going to kind of really talk about the art form of the variant cover, the good things, the bad things, the hype beast things, whether or not it's a hindrance to the fandom, and we're even going to show you some of our favorite variants of all time. But I'm going to go ahead and just start with, the love of variants. I think that they are a great idea. I kind of got into them in a weird way. During my up and coming, before I got back into Marvel, during the Marvel Now era, I really read a label called Avatar Press. And they always had like 80 variants for every book. And they were the only label that were doing that. And some of them were just so grotesque, so gross. So if you like read Crossed or like Caligula or stuff, there were these variant covers with just eyeballs and sex and just all this grotesque nastiness, and they were wonderful. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of caught on with the mainstream market. Not so with the grotesque stuff, but Vault's kind of keeping it alive with the horny stuff, with the money shot variants,
with the black bag variants.
Yeah. And Joey, how do you feel about the good things about the variant cover?
Man, I like variant covers, like just the standard, just A, B. When it gets into the ratio variants, I kind of lose me a little bit there when we get into ratio variants, and and the spec market kind of makes the price fluctuate when you get into ratio variants, the popularity of the book, this and that. So, but I mean, I like a good variant as long as it's within reason. I've actually acquired a few variants through Sergio because I got a few cool ones through him. Picked up some through my shop too. Like I got the Walt Simonson Beta Ray Bill variant. I love that when you have like the actual creator of a book that comes back when they're doing a run on something, and they do a variant for the character they created. That kind of shit I eat up every day of the week, and I'll be willing to pay a little more if it's a ratio for something like that, because for me that holds significance, because he's the creator, he has ties to the character, and I love it when stuff like that. Or, you know, like you get certain cover, like now with Variance, I think it offers opportunities to artists to break into the industry through covers. Like they break in by making these covers, start to build a slight name for themselves, and bang, I like to support good cover artists, and like Maria Wolf, Dan Hip I've just started getting into, stuff like that. I really appreciate like a good B, C, E, D cover. I dig it.
Elle.
I'm the opposite. I'm probably too gracious with variant covers. I will buy anything. Actually, Sergio, he is the one who put me onto it, because before they weren't accessible to me. My comic shop, my local shop, didn't carry. They carried ratios for like DC on the big titles, but that's it. And so Sergio set me on a path of debt, and and so listen, I'm more for the art. I don't even necessarily have to be following a story, but if something speaks to me, and I'll say a little bit out of reason price wise, because I'll say a hard number, but then once I see it in person, it's different, right? I'm like, oh well, I have to get it now. And so I love Variance. I think it got a little bit out of control during COVID, actually. Like lately, it's gotten out of pocket. I was embarrassed to go back and look at my receipts in my email preparing for this show, because I was like, I spent that much money on Ice Cream Man this year.
Elle, you're one of my favorite customers. Don't let
there was only 5 issues of Ice Cream Man dropped this year, and easily like I have like 40, 50 covers for Ice Cream Man just this year. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me.
Yeah, we'll touch on that a little later.
But support artists. That's how I feel about it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The expert Sergio, hit us, man.
I mean, for the most part, I love Variance, man. For a lot of the same reasons that Joe, Johnny, you guys already touched on. I think first and foremost, probably I'm a big art guy, a very visual person. So a nice variant cover, I gravitate to very easily. It can put maybe an under the radar book on the map, just off of the strength of the variant. Can spotlight lesser known artists, a lot of different reasons, right? Yeah, I mean, I've been collecting variants for basically since I've been collecting, right? I will say though that I think it has gone a little bit out of hand, a little crazy with some particular publishers and books, to be specific. But for the most part, I think it's fun. Like anything in life, man. Moderation, right? Too much of one thing cannot be a good thing, right? Well, how's the saying go? Too much of
you pretty much
too much of a good thing.
Too much of a
Too much
good
of a
thing.
good thing.
yeah. So
all things in moderation, and too much of a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
All right, Adrian.
Yeah, this whole variant thing. So, like, I collected comics. Like, I'm at that age, where I collected, in the, the mid to late '80s, early '90s, up to the mid '90s. Variance wasn't really a big thing, like McFarlane's Spider-Man #1, I had like the 3 covers and all that. And so, I quit collecting comics, mid '90s, and then honestly, I started picking up. I got back into it about 3 years ago, and I remember just, I was just buying stuff for covers and all that, and then, I picked up this one issue of New Avengers, and it's this gorgeous, like, you know, like a painting of Black Bolt in the front of it. I'm like, this is fantastic. I was looking forward to, you know, what's inside of it. I open inside and it's like no relation to the cover, right? And this is how naive I was. I'm like, what? I was so upset about this, right? You know, because I just like understand. It's like, why would you put something as gorgeous as this with, you know, this juvenile work inside of it? I basically just described my own book, right? But but anyway, so this is like, you know, just me being naive about this whole variant thing, and then, you know, I just kind of went full bore into it, and yeah, I mean, I love it. I love variants to a certain point, right? I mean, like, you know, everything in moderation. And it's a great way to introduce you to artists that, you know, this might be their only shot of actually getting onto a stage big enough, you know, to get their name out there, right? Because there are people that have done variants that, you know what, they might have done one variant, you'll probably never see them again, you know. So, you know, it's a good opportunity. It's a great platform. Like I said, I'm all for it, but I found the last year it kind of went a little overboard on a couple of series for me. That kind of sort of turned me off. Oh.
Yeah, we all know the series. I think it's universal at this point, huh?
Well,
actually, you know what it was?
Hmm?
It was actually Something's Killing Children issue 16. So that was a series I followed from the beginning, right? You know, and you know, I love the series. You know, I bought, you know, the variants, you know, early on, and, you know, it's obviously, like, you know, appreciated in value. You know, like the Jenny Frison covers. But yeah, you know, when 16 got announced, and then I saw like one or two variants, I'm like, great. So I hopped on it, pre-ordered, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden it's like the next day, 2 more variants were announced. 3 more variants were announced. Like, what is there? I think there's like 20 variants for this issue. It was just absolutely insane. And it got to the point where I just like thought, no. And it almost deflated me a bit, you know, my interest in the series, to the point where it's like, I'm not overly excited about the House of Slaughter books. Right, I bought issue 1, but I'm not going to go chasing variants. You know, I bought issue 2, but it's like sitting in a stack, right? I almost don't feel like it. You know what I mean? It's just like,
well,
I dropped the book at issue 7 for the same exact reason. You made it way further than I did. I knew people that were like legit selling their 1 through 7 collections for like $1,400, and I just felt so bad for the schmucks that were paying for that, because how much of that value do you think those books are actually going to keep? Do you think that those books are going to be worth any of that in 14 years from now, in 4 years from now?
Well, even like issue 8 and 9, like guys are like forking over like, you know, $50-$60. I saw like issue 9 and 10 go for like $100. You know, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, like, because there's always this, you know, there's the show that's supposed to be coming, right? So they've been talking about this show, and whether or not we actually see it, you know, maybe you'll get a pilot, and maybe that's it, you know.
Yeah, that's funny, because I was at the Comic-Con this weekend. There's this one vendor. He has a lot of older books. And he had like Moon Knight, the first appearance of Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night, and it was like $1,200. And Pat's like, "Why is that book worth so much?" I was like, well, because there's a show announced that's coming out next year, so now the value, because of the speculation that everyone's so excited for it blows up. So I said, someone's going to buy that right now at $1,200, and if the show comes out and it's garbage, that book's probably going to drop down to like a couple $100. You know, and I was like, it's a sad state of affairs that cinema and television are what drive value of books more than the actual content that's in the books. Well, that's we could talk about that on another show. That's not really what we're here to talk about. But
we could talk about it a little bit, because I think that they're going to really have to spice that television show up to make it worth what people are paying for those books. Because if you read the first arc of the comic, it's not actually very exciting.
Stop.
Very little happens in it, and
come on, it's great.
That's about as far as I got, though. You know what I mean? So I can't speak for the rest of it. But that's probably all you're going to get for the first season, is the first graphic novel, basically, but stretched out.
We gotta watch it. Like, there's such an oversaturation now of Marvel content, you know, and DC as well doing their thing, and you know, Netflix picking up whatever, you know, the indies and all that. Yeah, I remember this. Like I'm old enough. Like with the '90s. I mean, the crash is coming. I'm telling you right now, the crash is coming. There's some
And
graded
it's going to be
books that
terrible.
yeah, and like some of the graded books have just plummeted. Like some of the 9.8 that some guy spent 20 grand. It's now like $9,000, right? So I don't know. It's too much. It's too much.
Image said no more variants after. Didn't they announce that today?
No, they said no more second printings.
No.
That
I
was
got an
Image.
email from Heat Seekers this morning saying that they're not doing any more variants after a certain number anymore. Image.
Oh, really?
Unless it was scare tactics to get us to buy their
Mm.
their covers, but that's the email I got this morning.
That's
Yeah,
too bad because Deadly Class is like one of the few books that I actually buy variants for. So damn it.
Yeah, and McFarlane announced the two covers for the Scorched. So the main cover, then the Virgin cover. So really nice, actually.
So you guys are talking about like the values of the books and the bubble numbers. A big part of that was during the pandemic. A lot of people had disposable income. That's when the speculating took off
Yeah.
like crazy. That's when you had all these online sellers start to pop up, online shops. A $50 book became, $150 book overnight. Just through across the board. Values skyrocketed, and now you're seeing they're starting to come back down,
Come
dip,
back down.
and stabilize and normalize a little bit. But things are still on the higher side. But I think at the end of the day, things are gonna like plateau. It got crazy in the last 2 years, insane. I've never seen the market like this since the '90s when shit was out of control and almost destroyed the comic industry and.
Yeah.
But
do
I think,
you guys?
and,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna touch on issue 16. You'd mentioned something is killing children. That what happened there was actually Boom had announced that they weren't gonna do any more store exclusives for that series. So you had everybody trying to put out a store exclusive.
And
I
then
think
they
there
were
was like
posting those like, oh, you can't see this cover yet, but pre-order it now. And I'm not gonna lie, I did.
Yeah. the blind buys.
The
Yeah.
Pong Lee cover is one of my favorite covers, and that foil one is so good. And I did get the Dyke Ruan one because it's one of my favorite covers. But I only bought 3 exclusives for number 16. I'm proud of that number.
Yeah, I think I have about 4 or 5. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
I have-
And then what turns out is they ended up doing more stories. So
Right.
Boom has really questionable marketing and sales tactics when it comes to their books. So that number 16 got out of hand though.
I have cover A of number 16, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I didn't buy any. But I'd like to touch on something that Adrien mentioned, how it turned him off the book. And I think that happens a lot, like where it almost turns into a point where it almost feels like a company preys on their fans. Like they take advantage of your fandom. Like, look, these people are eating it up, they're buying it, and they're like, let's see how far we can take it. Like, look at Ice Cream Man number 25. How many goddamn variants are there for that single issue?
53.
53
Jesus.
variants for one goddamn issue.
And one is a one of one that sold for $5,000, and it was ugly.
Honestly, man, like
That's insane.
that's like some Supreme clothing bullshit, man. To tell you the
Yeah.
truth, like
Yeah.
that is not comic collecting, in my opinion.
No,
That
I
is-
think that's where it feels like it's preying on people's love and fandom of.
I didn't buy any store exclusives for 25 because I also noticed that a lot of people were selling their lots of comics of Ice Cream Man when it was announced how many covers there were, because people in the fandom were like, there's no way I can keep up with all the covers, or people who were like, and I saw people show their real true colors trying to get all the covers it was a really crazy time, and it made me like, and I'm a big Ice Cream Man fan, and it really made, like you were talking about, something that's killing the children, like it turned me off. Like
Turned you off, yeah.
I didn't even care what, I'm like, I don't care what the story is anymore, because and then it's so funny because a lot of the stories dive into like criticisms on the human condition and capitalism, and you're doing exactly what you're criticizing.
But Stray Dogs had those really cute covers with the puppy dogs. Come on, guys.
Well,
that's different than.
I'm glad Cookie brought it up because that was the other book I was going to talk about. How in the beginning they just had your regular cover A, and you had the horror homage variant, which was the B cover, and that's it. They had 2 covers all throughout the first 5 issues, and then all of a sudden it just caught fire, and they just went to town. I
refuse to buy that book.
It just got out of hand. Yeah,
Adrian, tell us why, because I'm a hater of Stray Dogs. Go ahead.
I remember seeing Stray Dogs 1 at the time, right? I thought, this is stupid, right? Because I just like, I hate Disney, like, like animated Disney, movies. And I looked at this, I'm like, this is just dumb, right? And, even though, I missed the boat on cashing in on this book, right? I don't care. I'm actually proud of myself for not getting into this stupid title, right? And it's like, I remember somebody on Instagram, this collector's like, he's like, I just wish Stray Dogs would just die.
Yeah.
Right. He just,
it was, a lot of people liked it. I hated Stray Dogs. I could not stand but I hate Reddit because I started it. I'm like, I gotta finish it. And I'm not gonna lie, I did collect all from Sergio. I got all the covers for it. Is like, I don't usually sell my comics, but once I saw how crazy people are going for it, I'm like, oh, as soon as I see the right number for like the 1 through 5 lot of B covers, I'm selling that shit on eBay because I don't want it in my house. I don't like it.
I'll be honest, I enjoyed the series, but right from the start, all I got was the Bs. I didn't get the A covers.
I didn't even bother with the A covers.
Yeah, I didn't bother because I like what they did with those covers.
Oh,
like the original B covers.
Yeah.
So I did get those, and I might have gotten the Evil Dead one they did. So I like that one. But like they did Takashi Miike's The Audition. They did Dracula. Basically they went into like fucking the horror repertoire and tried to fucking cash in on every fucking franchise in horror history.
So now when I see a variant that's not a movie homage, I get excited. I'm like, oh, they're doing something different. But I don't care.
No. Did they have a Phantasm one?
Probably.
Oh man, I don't know. Probably.
They have a Goosebumps one. They have they got everything.
They're treating horror movies like hood rats. Like, come on.
And I think that sparks another issue is variant, the homage variant fucking are insane. Like, you have some that are like, oh, this cover was popular back in the 90s. Now everybody's doing it. Like, you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. You have all the Todd McFarlane covers that they're redoing. You have
that Todd McFarlane one. Everybody got one of those.
The New Mutants 87.
It's exploded. Like the Days of Future Past or whatever.
Like we don't have to recreate that Rob Liefeld cover because we have to stop feeding Rob Liefeld. We need to like cut the air out and just choke his presence out because I can't take him anymore.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
I can't. Did you see like how many of what's it the G.I. Joe series? The Snake Eyes series? Rob Liefeld's Snake Eyes. Was it Snake Eyes? Or he also did like another run of variants. Like he had like 40 some odd variants. Like it's like having like 40 some odd strains of COVID. It's just like come on. Like
the Liefeld variant.
Listen,
the Liefeld variant. Feet start to shrink and then fall off.
Okay, for the record. For the record, like in the 90s. No, I used to love, actually, like back in the day, I loved Rob Liefeld. I love, all the guys like Larson, McFarlane. And so it was when I started listening to Robservations, right? Like, his podcast. I got through like 4 episodes. I'm like, this guy's like the Uncle Rico of comics. Like, I don't need to hear every show. Every show, he's got to like rattle off. He rattles off all his like accomplishments. So I'm like, I got it off of like episode 1. Like, I know you did Deadpool. That's great. Deadpool's great. I love it. Move on. Like it's just I don't know. And then when Marvel gave him like all those variants last year or this year, I'm like, come on, it's too much.
It's
After
fun.
all that crappy talk too. I mean, he's been talking nothing but smack about Marvel, and then they go give him more work. Like, what's
But
up with
it's
that?
fun. But like Sergio said, it just turns into too much of a good thing, right? Where you just get sick of it and you don't want to see them anymore.
Well, I don't
know?
think it's too much of a good thing. I think it's something that Adrian touched on a little while back, and that it's when we were younger, like we would get variants, but they were something special. They came with a number one. They came with a special 100th issue. They weren't for issue 15, and we didn't have 35 of them for issue 13. It's like how the
Yeah.
event crossover books are now, where you have 4 a year. When I was a kid, you had to wait, and it built up before you had Firestorm or you had Fall of the Mutant and all that. Like, you had to build to these stories, and now they just don't know how to build to anything. It's just, hey, let's just throw this at everybody constantly like it's confetti, and it's there's nothing special about them anymore. I think
No.
that's one of the
And-
main problems with it.
Exclusive variants don't really help the market. It helps the big stores, but all the smaller mom and pop ones, man. Like, I was talking to someone, and to get a store exclusive, Image is offering a store exclusive to any store that wants it, but you have to order 500 copies minimum. It's a minimum 500 copy order. So like Midtown Comics, big stores like that can do this shit. But like where I go, he has a hard time selling 2 Image books that are like lesser known, that it's not Marvel or DC. You think he's gonna go out and order 500 copies to try to get like an exclusive cover for his shop? Like, all this market is aimed at making the rich
Well, if you
richer,
could
and it doesn't
Explain to
help.
him how much you can
Yeah.
flip it for on eBay. Send him to Sergio and
Yeah, but-
split that cheddar with him.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of these smaller stores are like, I get you got to adapt, but I mean, not all the stores want to go through the headaches of going on an eBay. Like, ask Adrian, he's getting sick of mailing shit out. You know?
Oh, it's
Like-
too much. It's too much. Like next
You know,
Kickstarter, 1 issue, 1 cover. That's it.
And I'm sure some weeks Sergio's like, man, I really don't feel like putting all these books together and mail them out. Like, I'm sure it becomes a nuisance and a pain. And like, I don't know if you have anyone that helps you, Serge. Like, I'm sure some weeks when you have big weeks where there's these like hot variants, you must have a stack, and sometimes it must get overwhelming trying to get all that stuff out.
It's so I've taken a bit of a step back on selling like the variants and stuff, just because even myself a bit of, I wouldn't say burnout, but it's just kind of like what I see what the variant market is right now, and it just kind of, it's turned me off a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I started selling because I love this stuff, right? But when I
You
see
want-
kind of what it's turning into, I'm
Yeah.
like, how much a part of that do I want to, you know what I mean?
Be part of, yeah.
Yeah, be a part of. So, I mean, I'm continue selling, but like something like, Ice Cream Man or something is killing the children. I'm trying to push like the maybe the smaller books, right?
The books that get
Variants
less.
like that, like for
Yeah.
the smaller titles and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a little bit for me as a retailer. It's a little different.
Yeah,
I will
I've
say
been seeing
that
a lot of source point on your Instagram lately, and for the books that you've had up, like a lot of source point stuff's been up there.
Source Point Scout, yeah, like the smaller guys, right? Which is not as bad as, they're not like an Image. I think Source Point, I think it's like a minimum of 50
Okay.
for their exclusive variants, right?
Okay.
I'm not sure what the numbers are for some of the other smaller, but it's nothing crazy. I think Marvel, it's gonna cost the store like $10,000 or eight or 10 minimum to request an exclusive with them. It's something crazy, right? So
There's a big lack of transparency in the variant online selling as well, because I would find at like towards the beginning of the pandemic, there was like a site saying like, oh, it's a 1 in 150. It wasn't until later I learned, no, there's a certain number they have to purchase. So it's false advertising to be like, oh, this is a 1 of 150, because in real life they ordered 500.
So
Right.
the thing with that is there's a bit of So if you're right, there if a publisher requires you for 300 or 500 minimum, so the retailer, they're supposed to like tear up the remaining copies, right?
And when I learned about
Um,
that, there's some shops that I don't shop from, absolutely not, because I found out that that's what they were doing, and it's gross. It's gross.
some shops are definitely selling over the what they're advertising the limit,
Yeah.
and then some other they use it to
Yeah.
filter out like the damaged copies, right?
But I've
Okay.
also
If I'm
seen
marking
them
it
Yeah.
as
like,
okay, this is a 250 print run, but I
yeah,
ordered 500, then okay, I'm only giving my customers the like the ones in the best condition, and you're supposed
Okay.
to throw out the rest. But I know in a few
eBay.
instances,
I
shop,
found secret eBay
yeah,
accounts for certain
it's
sellers,
crazy. It's crazy, right? So you're
and
supposed to go by
Yeah.
the honor
it's
system,
weird,
but
you know.
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't happen all the time.
it's a little
Especially for me,
dirty.
yeah. Go
It's
ahead.
like dirty pool, right?
Yeah.
It,
Because
it
for
like
me,
you
I'm
said,
buying
it
for
leaves.
the art, and so I
It,
don't care about the number if you're
yeah.
transparent. But
Yeah.
so when you're telling me like, oh, it's a 1 in 300, I'm like, okay. Like to me, that does. I know it matters to some people, but for me, I'm like, okay, whatever. And
Yeah.
I
then
mean, in
that
that
you
game,
ordered 800.
how many do you think the people that are buying actually read the books, or are just getting it because they know that it's something that's worth something, and they're just driving this up instead of like allowing a fan that would actually love to get their hands on the
Yeah.
book a chance
Yeah.
to even buy it? You know what I mean?
Guilty
That's
because
another.
I don't read my variants.
Yeah.
Well, no, but you are
Oh,
interested in the book itself.
yeah, I
You're a
buy
fan of the
yeah,
comic.
I do buy
You're
the
not.
A's and the
You're
new
not a
books.
person
Yeah.
that views it like a pair of spray painted shoes that are, never supposed to
Like,
be worn.
but I get what you mean. Like, how many books live off the popularity of their variants rather than the actual quality of the content within the book? Like, the
Mhm.
book's probably like mid, but
Mhm.
because everyone's so into the variants that this book stays alive because everyone's buying these goddamn variants, even though the book isn't that great. And if it didn't have
Mhm.
these variants, maybe it wouldn't even be on the stands anymore.
Oh,
Like,
that's a
this is
lot of
what
Marvel
thi-
variants I buy.
this is where I find the variant game can go and skew the market because we're not even talking about the quality of the books anymore. We're just talking
Mhm.
about how cool these variants are and who wants to get their hands on them and this and that. Like
Inferno. How many cool variants? All the high fashion. What was that event that just happened in X-Men? The
oh,
gala, Hellfire
the
Gala.
gala, yeah,
The
yeah.
All
Hellfire
those
Gala.
covers.
Yeah.
I could not tell you one thing that happened at the gala, but I could tell you which covers were pretty sick.
Well, it's not just that. Like me and Joe talk about it all the time, and we both actually like the book pretty okay. Is Ice Cream Man. Like people will go on and on about how cool the variants are. They never talk about what's
Never-
inside the book.
Never
You
talk about
never
the
hear
story.
anybody review the
Never.
story. It's
Never.
That's so true. Anytime I'm on the timeline, I'll see people posting about, oh, I got this store exclusive or that cover, but it's rare,
But I'll tell you
rare
this:
that I hear
the
about the
last
story.
4 issues
Yeah.
have been mid compared to what they were
Yeah.
putting out prior. And haha. But you know what else gets thrown into the mix is
I
their
heard-
personal opinions.
I heard haha is caca.
Haha. So this is what happened.
that's bad, Joe.
Maxwell Prince or whatever, he posted an Instagram story like shitting on Joker the movie, right? And I'm like, and then when you get to the conclusion of haha, it's basically like a criticism of the world and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, you did all of that to say this, like, and it made me mad. And so now I'm like disillusioned about Ice Cream Man because I'm like, all this stuff, philosophical, themes and all this stuff that's in here, and I'm just like, you guys don't even really believe in all this shit. Like, it's fraudulent.
I'm just gonna
Well-
say this, and I'm not, and not. This isn't really a dig at Ice Cream Man, but if it was as good as their fans say it is, the
Mhm.
comic would be called Sink. That's all I'm gonna say about Ice Cream Man.
Amen to that, man. But I'm not. I was just making a joke. I don't know. I only read the first issue of haha. So I
No,
don't know if
haha
it-
wasn't. It wasn't.
I don't know if it's good or not. It's just because Sergio used the word caca last Sunday on the show on the House of Nerds, so I want to use caca because I thought it
It's
was funny.
literally the only word he uses outside of the show too.
Everything is caca.
Everything is.
Everything is caca. And
I have a lot of
educate the
friends that
viewers.
love Ice Cream Man that hated haha, so like I wouldn't be surprised if you did feel that way, Joe. So it's kind of a common thing that I've run across,
Eh,
which
You know I
But
don't hate too many
it's
books.
hit or miss. It's hit or miss, like Ice Cream Man is, because in an anthology series, every story isn't going to be as good as any other one. But I think they were really relying on the popularity of Ice Cream Man to like, oh no, this is amazing. So I'm reading these reviews like, oh, like life changing. Like this is so. I'm like, what? Like, did we read the same book? Because it was okay. The first couple stories were cool. One of the ones that a lot of people thought were boring, I actually did enjoy. But overall, like you could have these could have been Ice Cream Man issues. You didn't have to do all this. It
Yeah,
was just a grab at
yeah.
more covers,
I
right?
think part of that is just people online. They wanna be part of that clout. You know what I mean? They're just like
Yeah.
something's hot, so they want to comment on it and be I don't know,
Be the first to comment on it.
right? So
Yeah.
or, hey,
How
I'm
many
cool too.
how many variants do issues of Haha get? If Ice Cream Man gets 53 of them, does that one get any close to that, or is that
Well,
like
No.
a record for variants?
Probably what, maybe 10?
Yeah, maybe 10 or 12. And then
On-
Haha was only
at
6
the-
issues.
Yeah.
So I think I only bought like 2 or 3 store exclusives. I didn't even really go crazy. I honestly, well, I'm lying. Sergio
Oh,
knows
did
because
you
he
did
has
you
my
grab the
he has my
Trump
log.
one?
Huh?
I got
I know,
I got
Joe.
the-
You grabbed the Trump.
I got the
one,
Trump
right?
one. Yeah.
Oh, you
the
did,
Oh, I
Trump
right?
love that
yeah.
cover. That is
Yeah.
so beautiful. I would,
Yeah.
I would totally own that, even if I hated the book. That is
But
such
the
a
number
great cover.
one, oh, you know what? I'm lying. Then I did buy more covers than I thought I did because Megan Hutchison did the McDonald's cover for number 1 with Ronald
Yeah.
McDonald on it, and
Mm.
I love
Okay.
that cover. I did buy those off of eBay actually. So after the fact, I was
She
surprised. I
cheating
got
on you, Serge. She cheating on you. You better
All
get
the
mad.
time.
He
No
knows,
loyalty. No
he
loyalty.
knows what it is.
No loyalty.
Did anybody get the Trump cover?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
got
was the
mine
run
off.
of that?
The Trump, I believe that was a 300 print run.
Casey Parsons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know Joe. I sent one to Joe. Elle, did I?
No, because at the time I couldn't even comprehend spending money on anything
Yeah.
with his face on it.
Yeah, that one. That
So
was great.
I didn't even
Just
care
honestly,
about the
yeah.
spec on
Yeah.
it or anything. I could not, in good faith,
Yeah.
buy anything
Perfect
with him
timing.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect timing on that cover.
How much did they sell for, Serge? Just wondering, like at the height of it.
At the height, it was about $200.
Surge was
Okay.
selling them
$100.
pre-order. Surge sold it
Yeah.
to me for like $30, which is
I,
pretty much.
that's
which
what
is
I'd
pretty
pay
fair.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd pay for it.
It was fair.
Actually.
Yeah.
I mean,
all
That's
my
more than
copies,
fair.
I think except for maybe one, I sold that cover, and then I've actually still got a couple I was holding on to, but I think it's gone down to about $100 or so for
yeah,
for the Haha,
something
so,
around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is normal. He isn't a novice anymore, so it's just bound to drop as
Yeah.
soon as he wasn't reelected. So
Uh,
another thing, the value of a comic is based on something that's completely non-comic related, right? So
crazy.
It is complete nightmare fuel, though. I do agree with you, Mel. I mean, I would not hang that up just in case like light hit it at a special time at night and like I saw it. Like, yeah, like I wouldn't be able to go back to bed.
So
the
do you
artist,
want to?
the artist is a local guy here, local to the Toronto area. Nice guy, Casey.
I have
Parsons. He
I
does
have
it.
another one of his covers actually for Little Bird.
Oh man! Now
Oh, I
talk
know
about
what
a
you're
book.
talking about. I
Talk
saw,
about a. Okay, go ahead, Serge.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
I
Oh, you
like
got it
that.
signed, eh?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
How did you come across that one?
Mutant Beaver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sergio, you got what was the name of that? You just got me a Casey Parsons signed
Oh,
cover.
man.
I can't think of the name of it
And
off
that-
the top of my head.
That was a free book he threw in for free when I ordered some other stuff.
Really, eh?
Mm.
Yeah,
not
he
bad.
threw that in as a
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with that. I saw that. I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
See, something
So-
like that. That's one of the things I love about the variant game is you're coming across these artists who you otherwise might not normally come
Mhm.
across, right? Like Casey Parsons, his stuff, guys, definitely recommend checking it out. Gorgeous, like he's got like that painted.
Yeah,
Stuff. I think he actually paints a lot of his stuff. Yeah,
yeah, that's
Vibe with
it.
the
body.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
just unreal stuff, right?
Very
So I was-
baroque.
I was surprised and pleasantly surprised to find, oh, he's like, he's just local to the city and everything, and a lot of great guys. There's Richard Pace, who's from
Oh,
Toronto.
Richard Pace is cool as hell. Yeah.
How
Yeah,
dope is his stuff? Yeah,
he's got
yeah,
nice stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Lad Killa. He's
Yeah.
been around since like the '90s. Crazy stuff.
Hmm.
Actually, Joe, the two something is killing the children covers I sent to you are from Lad Killa. He's unreal, man. Um, but
I don't think you sent. I don't think that was me.
no, no, the
No,
images
no, no. For
for
the
tonight's show.
yeah, for later for his Rex.
Oh, okay. For
Yeah,
the pics you sent me by
yeah,
email. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll be getting to that pretty
Yeah.
soon.
So
We might as well end it on a positive note about the stuff we love.
yeah,
I'm really curious, Serge. How much is the most you made off of a variant, man? Like, what is the most expensive one that you've been able to get your hands on and get out to the world?
store exclusive, I would say, is probably that Trump. Haha.
Oh, really?
I bought it like a whole whack of those, and I sold like all but one of them at the cover price because they pre-ordered, and I sold out like that. But I had a feeling it was gonna be hot, so I held on to, I think, three or four. One of those I think I sold for about $200, and then I've got like two or three left of those that I just kind of held on to, never bothered selling them. So that for a store exclusive, right? That
Just,
that went crazy.
I have another question for you because maybe some people aren't as familiar with variance and the ratios.
Yeah.
Uh, you have a little more knowledge because you deal with it on a regular, semi-regular basis. Like, could you give people an idea, a baseline of, let's say, like what a 1 in 5 generally goes for, a 1 in
Yeah.
10, a 1 in 25? Like, let's tell the people kind of what they're looking at as an average price for a 1 in something ratio.
So I mean, on average, I'd say a 1 in 5 is like about $10, give
Okay.
or take. A 1 in 10 is around 15. A 1 in 25, that's more when it starts to kind of fluctuate a bit. There's a wider range depending on how hot the book is, the publisher. But on average, a 1 in 25 can be as low as like $25 up to like 50, even
50.
really,
Yeah.
depending how hot
Depending
it is,
on the
right?
speculation.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I find DC's ratios DC's and Marvels tend to be higher than others, right?
Okay.
So like a 1 in 50, you're gonna pay minimum. That's minimum $50, right?
$50. Yeah.
Like 75. The 1 in 250 for Batman 118. The homage cover that which is, I was tempted to grab that. That's going for about $300 to $350.
I hate that they put a collector's item question mark on the fucking cover of the regular ones. I'm like, get the
Well,
I
they
hate
did
that.
that because it's straight off the homage of the Spider-Man it's based off of.
But I
Right?
just hate that that's even on there. Like it
Yeah.
makes it look like, oh, is this why you're buying it?
Yeah, I think part of it, that's why people because they designed it as straight exactly like the original Spider-Man. They just substituted the character, right?
Yeah.
But I love, yeah. I mean, so it depends. Like I'd say for the ratios, the big two tend to have a little bit of a higher price tag to them.
Mhm.
But
Big two, I won't go 5 over whatever the ratio is.
Yeah.
I'm cheap. But
yeah.
I did tell you that Batgirls that's dropping next week on the low, I'll go to 40 for the one I told you.
That's a nice one. Was that Rose Beach or?
I don't think so. No,
No?
it's somebody else I forget. But I
Okay.
was like, I'll go to 40 for this.
Yeah.
What was it, like a 1 in 25?
I think it's a 1 in 25.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, there's a reason why they're costing higher, right? So, like if a shop owner, he's got to order for a 1 in 25, he's got to order 25 copies
But minimum,
to
yeah.
get that one
Just
ratio,
the single issue, yeah.
right? And a lot of times these guys, they know they're not going to sell the 25 copies of the regular cover, so they've got to make their money back somehow. So that's things like that.
Yeah.
You got to support your local shop. It's their bread and butter, right? They're not making any money off the regular AB covers, right?
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. But it's good. Just wanted to give like people
Yeah.
watching that aren't familiar, like kind of an idea of how the ratios work and
Yeah.
like what kind of price range you're looking at for, because they solicit it, right? If it's a 1 in 25 in the
Mhm.
diamonds in the previews, and like people are like, some people will probably see that are just starting out or getting back into comics. Like a lot of us when we're younger, this didn't exist. Now we're coming in and we're like, what the fuck is a 1 in 25 or a 1 in
Yeah.
10? And
Oh, and
you know,
I've
you start-
definitely been got, like, because I took a big break from collecting until like 2018 is when I started back buying stuff, and I didn't really understand that stuff. So I would just see something and trust that they were being honest with their selling methods. So I couldn't tell you how many books that are worth like $5 now that I spent like 40, 50 bucks on, because you're an easy mark, unfortunately, as a woman going into some shops. And I'm like, they don't like, why would you be deceitful about this? So I'm just gonna buy it. And then I come back now with the same knowledge to some of the same shops, and I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Well,
You
it's
should-
the age-old process. They did the same thing to me when I was a kid in the 90s. I mean, I remember I paid about $15 a piece for most of the issues of the Max when I was reading it, and that was when they were coming out. They just knew they could gouge you for certain books like that. I paid probably about 35 for the first issue, and there's no way you can get. Maybe now I haven't checked in a long time, but usually the issues for that were selling for maybe $4 at the highest.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is 20 years later, and it's considered a piece of comic book history. You know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question though. In
Yeah.
terms of ratios and stuff, just strictly as a collector, do you like that they're more rare and that it's almost like it's a gem for you personally?
Mm-mm.
Like I've got this cover that's not as common as the regular A or B. Does that matter to you guys at all?
No, I
Zero.
don't collect really. I'm a trade reader, but
Okay.
But the cool thing about that is, thanks to Something's Killing the Children, I actually have a trade that's like worth $75, and I'm just like, how did that even happen? I thought trades were supposed to be worthless, but
That's crazy.
woohoo! This
Yeah.
book's so insane. I made a trade worth $75.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of rough on my trades too, right? Because they're like, I consider them like a regular book. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna, go back and read it again. And then I see some trades now, like, and the resale value on them. I'm like, dang, I really shouldn't have read that, huh? I should have just not touched it.
And you guys touched on some like so like you said, Johnny, trades historically have hold no value, right? Now books like Something Is Killing the Children, the Jenny Frison variant, for a
Yeah.
trade,
Mhm.
Yeah, they're making variants for trades. Yeah.
it's selling for about $100.
Stray Dog,
Uh,
$70. Goosebumps, glow in the dark. Initial sales price, and I said, get the
Crazy,
fuck out of here.
crazy. Yeah. The Department of Truth variants. I sold a Martin Simmons one,
Mhm.
a trade, and I was selling it for like easy $75 because that's what the market was dictating, right?
Okay.
What's the
and I-
what's the Oswald the Oswald variant going for right now? Number one.
The Oswald?
Yeah, the Oswald Lee Harvey. Yeah, for Department of Truth. It was going something crazy, wasn't it? Like.
Yeah, that was like I think that was like a 1/100 or like a secret variant. I don't even know if there's a print run on that, but yeah, it was something. It was something stupid.
I have that one. Right? I just grabbed it just because
okay.
like I got into Department of Truth right off the bat just because I love the covers. I love the whole. I guess maybe it's because like growing up, in the '80s with the punk scene and all that, right? It was always like this, Reagan, cut paste kind of whatever, and I just love that stuff. And I lucked out getting a lot of those early variants in that. But man, that was one of those series, kind of almost like Something's Killing Children. I just completely lost interest in.
Yeah.
The hype beast, the hype machine behind it. I mean, like, it just gets to the point where you're just kind of like, all right, that's just gotten too cool for me. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. Like, I'm not cool enough for that anymore.
Yeah.
No, I find that book, honestly, I find it unreadable. Like James.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost too stylized for me. Like, it's funny though. It's like I still buy it because of the covers. Like a dummy, right? So, but I can't read it. It's just too much. It's too. It's too
That's one of
scrambly.
the ones I usually stick to the ABs. I have
Yeah.
maybe like 3 Department of Truth. No, I'm lying. I have 1 Department of Truth store variant, and it's only because it's like that Pulp Fiction homage, and I tend to buy anything that puts that on the cover.
Yeah,
So,
gorgeous
but
covers. Yeah.
that's the only one I've ever bought. But I think their ABs are fantastic for the
Yeah,
series.
yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate a company that puts out stellar
Mhm.
ABs because
yeah.
you know, like Surge knows me. I'm pretty cheap, and like I won't spend more than $30 on a variant cover. That's probably my cap, and it's got to be something special for me, or else I'll be like, I'll pass. You know, because yeah. But
What's the most
like
you spent on a variant?
$30.
30?
Yeah, that's my cap. I stick to
Joey.
it, man.
Joe wasn't lying. If I'm selling a book and I'm like $35, he's like, no, it's 30. That's my cap. And hey, I get it. It's fair. It's fair. You know,
I gotta
think-
stick to a budget.
Mine
Yeah,
is like maybe 120 signed CGC. That's the
Yeah.
highest I'll go. But
Oh,
it has to be
well,
something I'm like
That's something
obsessed
else.
with.
You didn't say signed. When we get
Yeah,
into
you
signed
didn't say
books, then
signed.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
that's added value. But
yeah.
just something that's like a ratio that has nothing special aside from print and ink through from a printer.
Yeah.
Like the artist hasn't touched it or anything. Like there's nothing.
But
As soon
will
as
you
the
buy
creators
the
get-
pack? Because usually if they'll have like the Virgin and the trade, and the trade is going to be cheaper than the Virgin. So like, will you buy it if it's both for like 45 or no? Because
it's the
they
same-
usually
it's the
don't
same-
sell it by itself.
No, it's the same fucking cover. To me, it's the same
See,
cover.
I disagree. So I'll go
No.
to 45
Oh,
for
man.
a set. 45 for a set because I
Yeah.
want the Virgin, like the She-Hulk dropping tomorrow. I'm gonna buy it because I love the trade and I love the Virgin, and I feel like I need both in my life. So 45 for both, and I'm okay with that. I'm getting 2 covers.
Is that
It's
the
like
one you posted
22.
last night? The
Yeah.
cover you posted? Yeah, that is sexy.
And
So
if
yeah.
you zoom in, her eyes are green too, and it's based on obviously Tatiana Maslany, and I fucking love her. So I'm like, no, I'm absolutely gonna buy this. I have no interest in the series, 0. But I love that her eyes are green, and I love the placement of the words on the trade. But I also love it naked, so I gotta get both.
So that's what
Like-
a Virgin is. It's the same thing as the A cover, just it doesn't
Yeah.
have letters on it.
Yeah, it has.
No trade dress.
Yeah, I'm with Joe. It's the
naked.
same exact cover.
It's naked, man.
I'll
It's
just
naked.
get the regular one.
No.
I've never had a virgin my whole life. I'm not going to start now.
Yeah,
So-
straight up. I hear they're no fun. They cry all the time.
Oh man. I
Oh.
gotta say,
I just want to.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Virgins, man. I've lost track how many times
Okay.
I've come across
A
a
Virgin.
regular trade dress cover. Right? Get your head out of the gutter, guys. get a trade dress cover, and I'm thinking, man, the art is just like
Mhm.
gorgeous. I don't want it to any kind of text on any kind of writing,
Mhm.
and the virgins, like there's one. What was the there
Why
was
don't
one
you just get
recent- I think-
prints
I think
then?
it was for Layla
Get-
that we were
Get
looking-
like
They don't always sell prints. My very first Virgin in recent time, like since I started recollecting, was Red Mother #1, the Jay Lee and June Chung cover with the eyeball.
Yeah,
And
I
said,
love that cover. I love that
can never
series.
go back. I
Oh
have-
yeah, dude.
It's
Wow.
over my bed in a special frame for it. Like I never went back. I said I have to have Virgins now. Like these are amazing.
Can we talk about how
And,
great Red Mother is, though? Like
So
Red
good.
Mother is
And
fantastic.
I've never heard anybody
Oh.
talk about it, but it was.
Nobody
and
talks
that
about it.
cover-
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
we
Hey,
did a whole
every
show on
cover.
it. Yeah.
Wait, hold on,
We did.
Johnny. Shh. But I'm just kidding. It's so good. And number one, like when I saw that cover, I was like, oh, am I a real comic book person now? I got a Virgin.
Oh, that book was so cohesive. But actually, one thing I wanted to just touch back on, Joe was talking about. You made a comment about regular covers that are just good enough. Just like you start appreciating the A covers, right? Like the Zdarsky Daredevil run, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
Like the,
Oh yeah,
like Mark-
those
the
A
Mark-
covers.
The Marco Shadow covers are just, you know what I mean? Like even it was
Yeah.
issue 5 with Punisher, and the
Yeah.
the Daredevil, whatever.
This Red Skull. Yeah, with the Red Skull.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! And then like the stuff that Alex Ross is doing with like the classic Marvel characters, like he's doing the Iron Man series right now that like nobody seems to be reading, right? But like the covers are unreal. It's a great jumping point from Immortal Hulk. Now he's doing that Captain America, Iron Man tandem series and that. But I find with this whole influx of variants, I'm really starting to appreciate just just the one-offs, like the cover A's.
Mhm.
Yeah, Black Widow has amazing A covers.
Oh, amazing!
Because
Black Widow
I
is
love-
unbelievable.
The way they incorporate, I love when they incorporate the graphic design into the art.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
where
and
she's
the
on the neon
interior?
signs. Black Widow. I don't read it, but I bought a few of the A covers
Oh.
because they were so fucking good.
Yeah, no,
Fantastic.
I don't read it either, and I've bought.
Oh,
covers
you
because I was
gotta
excited
read
about
it.
How good the covers were.
Fuck. Every issue there's like a 2-page splash of of a fight sequence, right? And it's just like her and just different various
Yeah,
That
the
book
fight
is-
sequences are pretty good. I've seen a few of them, and they're really well laid out and plotted. And
Yeah. That series is a
They didn't-
textbook. I mean, honestly.
made me think of old school Norm Brayfogle, like the Batman he used to do, the fight sequences.
Mhm.
Like his Batman stuff back then, the way he plotted out, it was amazing. Like the action sequences were really good in that.
Yeah, but no one's talking about it.
The only time
Who's
I've
writing
heard
it?
anybody talk about that Black Widow book is when they talk about
Kelly Thompson.
Kelly Thompson, yeah.
Mhm.
Kelly
See,
Thompson,
the
yeah,
problem
who's
I have
also
problem I have with getting into any Marvel book is how long do I have to wait before they try to tie it into an event? You know what I mean? How long is the book going to be its book before it becomes part of Squirrel Wars or Secret Nutmeg Invasion or something?
I
You know what I
tend
mean?
to read only minis from Marvel. Like if it's
Yeah.
announced as a mini, I'll read it.
Yeah, me too. I pretty much stick to the minis as well. So let's get into our favorite cover artists. Like, who wants to go first? I can go first.
Okay, I guess Joey's going first.
There's like one in particular right now that I love is Maria Wolf, and I think everyone knows because anytime I see her cover, I'm like, fuck, she's awesome. You got to get her cover. And I think I just can't wait till she does interiors because, man, I love her style. And I'm a big James Stokoe fan, and she gives me huge James Stokoe vibes, like her style. I don't think I've seen a single cover from her that I haven't been like, they're good to excellent. Like Peach, I'm not a huge Peach fan. Her covers are good, but she does so many, and it just looks like a lot of Peach covers. What I find, it looks like it's a quick sketch done at a convention. Like a 5-minute sketch that she did for someone at a convention for like $5.
There's too much of her right now.
Yeah, but
it's like Stanley, like Archer. There's just too much of them.
Yeah.
Last year
when she did more horror stuff, like the stuff she did for Red Room, when she was doing stuff for heavy metal, that stuff is amazing. If you go look at her earlier work when she was doing
beautiful.
Her earlier like more horror. It's like amazing. Now she's gone into this more light, fluffy kind of watercolor, whimsical like stuff for Marvel. But her earlier stuff was really much more gritty edge to it, which I really loved. And then as she got more popular, she softened her style a little more to be more commercial, I guess, more palatable for a larger audience. But and someone new I've just gotten into like recently from I first saw his covers was on Crush and Lobo. The variant, actually, I think I picked that as one of my picks for the picks that we'll show when we go through our favorite covers. And Dan Hipp, like this guy, whoa, his color palette, his style, and it's again, I'm going towards a guy that has like that Stokoe style, you know, like I just love that kind of style of drawing. And this guy, I've been seeing him on Twitter, and I've been digging his stuff. He's been excellent. Like I eat his stuff up. It's really cool.
I'll go next. I'm gonna have to start out with, of course, David Mack. I've loved him since Kabuki, but his cover work is just glorious. I would say that he does overwork himself, and some of his stuff is a little bland, but when he is on, his covers are amazing. I love Dave Johnson, Glenn Fabry, and like Derek Robertson. I guess I'm an old head when it comes to cover artists. I don't know if any of those guys are even still working, but yeah, those are my favorites.
You know what I will say about Mac? Listen, I love his style, love his art, love his work. But if I'm being honest, for me personally, a lot of his covers these days they look exactly like the other ones he's doing, right? Like if I pick up a Mac cover for Something Is Killing the Children, looks like the same one for Daredevil, looks like the same one for
It's those
just
triangle things that he does in the background. He needs to
yeah.
switch that up. Do squares
Well,
next time,
yeah.
Dave. Come on. The triangles are getting old.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But then you'll get one in person. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have doubted you. This looks so like his
How about his
one
Moon
for
Knight? The one he did for Moon Knight recently?
yeah.
Holy jeez, that was
Shadow
gorgeous.
his Shadow Man cover was absolutely amazing in person.
Mm.
But I was hesitant about it. I was like, I don't know. They do all kind of look the same. But but then I got it in the mail and I said, oh, I like this.
Who are your favorites, Elle?
Recently Ingrid Gala. I love her. And I think I do have her in my slides for later.
Okay.
And
cool.
then I like Gerald. I don't know how to say any of these people's names. Gerald Perel.
Pharrell. Okay.
I said him earlier. Dyke Ruan. Ji Huang Lee. Is that how you say it? Sergio, how do you say it? Ji Hong.
Jiang Li.
Jay Lee. Any Lees? Listen.
Jaylee's good too, man. I dig Jaylee's work.
Yeah, Jay. Zoo. Sergio, I stole that from you. Zoo probably. And
Yours is
then
nice, yeah.
yeah.
Yours is nice.
But really for me it's not so much the artist. It's like let me see it. I have bought a lot of Art Germ stuff. I'm still if he's listening, which I doubt, but listen, I'm still waiting on my Miracle Molly. That came out in like May. Still waiting. These guys.
I love those Art Gym Catwoman comics, man. When Joelle Jones was writing for it, oh my God, were those covers so hot. Like,
oh, here we go. Johnny, anything else to tell us?
Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
All right, let's move on.
Are we gonna do a Shrek pod? We could. I'd be super down.
Yeah, we could do like a buzz bites on Shrek is
But
love.
Shrek is love, Shrek is life has to be like the 5th movie. Like it has to count as in canon.
Have you seen the Shrek musical?
Yes, unfortunately,
Oh.
I have, and I love when they announced that they were taking the Shrek 4D ride out of Universal Studios, California. I said, I have no reason to ever go home. I have no reason to go back to California. For what? No Shrek? Get out of here.
Shit.
You know what? More
Sergio.
Shrek variants. Let's get some Shrek variants going.
Yeah, dude,
I'd
that's
buy all of them.
I'm really hoping that John Lees and Alex Cormack draw Shrek in an issue of Sync because Alex Cormack seemed to get a kick out of it when we were talking about that.
Yes, I said, and name it Shrink, and I'm buying it. I'll buy all the covers.
Drink.
You know the Kickstarter tier where we'll draw you in the comic. I'll buy it. Say less. I'm in.
That's so funny.
Who are your favorites, Serge?
Off the top of my head, Jenny Frizen. Love her stuff, man.
Yeah,
Love her work. Her Wonder Woman variant covers. There's a bunch in there that are some of my all-time favorites. Just gorgeous. I love Alexis Zarit. He's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Man. His shit is insane. And then he's what I like about him is he's dope on interiors as well. So he's not just a cover artist; he does interior work. Ken Lashley does some crazy stuff. He's like I said, he's a Toronto guy. Strictly cover. Who else these days? Yeah, I think those are the ones that really kind of come to my head right now. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say Jeff DeCal?
The cow's dope, yo.
Yeah, I've
The
been
cow's
following
dope.
him on Instagram
Yeah.
He's
forever. I'm
taking
actually
over for Catwoman this next run, and his
Yeah.
covers, so good.
Yeah. He's nice. He's nice for sure. Like I said, Richard Pays, local guy. He's good, man. He did
Yeah.
one. He did one for "We Don't Kill Spiders,"
Yeah, that's in my top
which
picks
is
for later.
yeah, which is I think that's a scout book, right?
Huh? Yeah, it's Black Caravan.
Black
Black
Caravan.
Caravan,
Same thing.
and one of my favorite covers this year. It's sexy, but it's subtle. It's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I love my local guys, man. They're putting out great stuff, man. You know, Parsons, he's cool.
Richard
sure.
Pace is a Canadian. I did not know that. He looks like he's from like Tennessee or something. Big
No,
old boy with a
Richard
cigar
Pace
in
is
his mouth all the
Canadian,
time,
man.
just like, "Oh, I'll whoop your ass, boy." Looking guy.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, man. If Richard ever sees this, you're not that far off, man. His personality. He's got that big personality, man. He's a fun guy. He's a fun guy. Adam Gorham, another local guy. He does crazy stuff.
I love
He's
his Batman work.
yeah, his Batman stuff's top tier. Top tier. Godzilla. Shout out.
I don't know, man. He's gonna have to work hard to outdo Stokoe's Godzilla. I mean, talk about Canadians that can deliver, man. Stokoe's Godzilla was probably like a gift from God as a Godzilla fan, in my opinion. So
I'm not familiar with that. How do you spell that? Let me look that up.
Stokoe.
Stokoe.
Yeah, James
Godzilla,
Stokoe.
eh? Cool.
Yeah, the Half Century War and Godzilla in Hell are the two that he did.
Oh, I see that.
Adrian,
That's
it's your
dope.
turn, buddy. Who are your favorites?
You know, well, I like Ian Yuck. Is that how you pronounce his name? Inyuk?
Inyuk.
Inyuk? So yeah, I like the work he did on Some Skilled Children, and it's funny today. I emailed, I texted or messaged Joe. I found the Devil's Reign variants that he had done, the 125, which gorgeous cover. Like I just love it. And then Ji-Hung Lee. I'm a fan of the Star series. You know, the spinoff from Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 5-issue whatever. So he did a Virgin variant cover for issue 1. It's just kind of stars sort of floating and whatever. But Gabriel Delato, I think it was when I started collecting. I backtracked on Immortal Hulk. I was late to the game, and so I was just started number 1. I'm trying to get all the first printings, but issue 2. I ended up just buying like the 5th printing, which is like the Delato one, so the Hulk and then Spider-Man on his shoulder. And I just I looked at that cover, I looked at Ross's first print. I'm like, I'm fine with this 5th print. And I just, I don't know what it is about him. He's just, I don't know. I hate to use the word grittiness, but there's just something kind of, I don't know, grounded about his work. And then I originally liked Patrick Gleason's stuff. He had that one Spider-Man cover with the webbing motif.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
Remember this, whatever. It was cool until it's like all of a sudden they had like I don't know how many other covers that were just like that, right? They had like a blue cover, red cover, and then the Carnage, whatever. So yeah, that kind of got a little watered down for me. And then Archer. I'm a hit and miss with him. Mostly hit. I like some of the stuff he did with House of X. I love what he did with Jean Grey. I love her classic,
costume?
yellow green costume. Yeah. So I like him a lot, but I find sometimes with him though, every character almost has like the same face. For me, so that kind of
Rich does that.
Yeah,
Sorry
it gets a
for
little.
listening, but you do.
Yeah, and then
exactly the same.
Peach Tomoko. I mean, again, hit and miss. She did a couple of great variants for Spider-Woman, which I love. So, I love the current run of Spider-Woman to death. Right? Even though issue 1 had 20 variants in that, but she knocked out a few. And then actually, I'm kind of liking seeing Kevin Eastman. He's been doing a variant here and there, so that's really cool. Especially a guy my vintage, right? It's nice to see him sort of in and around there, and then
Yeah, Bisley's come back and done a few variants. He did a Lobo, Superman. He did a Philadelphia one. So he's making he's resurfacing, doing some covers here and there as well. James O'Barr as well. He did Something's Killing. Philadelphia. He did a Philadelphia variant. So James is starting to resurface. I saw a couple other things he did there. He did variants for. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And John Romita's got that. I mentioned to you, he's got that one variant for Devil's Reign 1, so the 150. So we're sitting on the rack at my comic book shop. I got to go back tomorrow morning. Hopefully it's still there. So I like to see.
Detective Comics covers are fantastic.
Yeah, Bermejo is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I got a hot take for you guys. I find. Listen, I dig Bermejo's covers when they're not superhero centric.
So you don't like the one of Batman like on his knees chained up?
They're okay.
Cover him here. Get out. Mute him. Kick him out of here, Joey.
For me on the character. Mute him. Like he did a variant cover for Action Comics 1000.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you guys Google it, Superman is just his style doesn't fit the character at all, right? It's
I
dark to right. So he's one of those guys. It depends very much on what it is that he's drawing, right? For me,
but I think the characters he's mastered.
Yeah.
And Batman, I feel like is his wheelhouse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, back when I was a kid, I used to just buy those Marvel Presents because of Sam Keith's covers.
Yeah,
yeah, those were awesome. I used to just buy those because of his covers back in the late '80s, early '90s.
It's good to see him kind of back again. I was really missing him because he'd been MIA, but when he popped back up at DC a couple years ago, I was really, really excited to see that, and I'm really happy that he's kind of stuck around. Because he's one of the old heads that I really appreciate. The Max was very influential for me as a kid, so which I probably read it way too young. I didn't even understand it when I read it, so but I get it now, and it's one of my all-time favorites. And he is a master of surrealism. I would love to see him work with Grant Morrison, like to see the two of them do a book together. That would be Los Increíble. That's all I gotta say.
Sergio, can you translate?
I have no idea what he said.
Okay.
I make stuff up. I got my own language.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Okay.
It's incredible. Yeah. My man Johnny spin the Spanish over there.
Yeah.
Well, Elle ain't the only California person. I almost said California boy, but like that would have stepped on it.
You know what? It's 2021.
It's 2021. Okay.
It's current year.
We're just a couple California boys.
Oh man. Hey, nobody mentioned Liefeld. What's going on? Come on.
Oh, dude, his work on especially the New 52 stuff when he finally mastered Feet was so good. Like especially Hawk and Dove, because like I think Hawk was like the perfect character for him to draw because it was such just a big dumb meathead character for him to draw. Liefeld, he nailed it with that Hawk and Dove shit. Like I'll give him that.
Didn't think we had to mention the goat.
You said he mastered Feet. When did that happen? Because
he draws them better now. There's not little pools of water that everybody's standing in or little mounds of dirt in front of everybody's feet anymore.
Man,
he actually tries to draw them, and they don't look like everybody's wearing little
slippers,
scuba
like Peter Pan, little Peter Pan shoes.
That's funny, man. Yeah.
I mean, people wouldn't make fun of him so much if he didn't have such a bad personality, you know.
Right.
People would cut him tons of slack if he just didn't ask for it so much.
He feeds the trolls. He really does, dude. He feeds them. He goes out every day with his bag of bread like the old lady with the birds, and he's just like feeding them trolls.
Hey, listen. I'll say this. I met him at a Comic-Con here in Toronto several years back, and he's exactly like how you would expect him to be. Who he is on Twitter is for better or for worse. That's who he is, man. And it's just like, okay, you know.
I mean, listen, like we can, you know, I mean, Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, for me, it's like sour grapes, right? I mean, obviously, I'll never, hit any heights that he has and all that. And congratulations and all that to him. But I don't know, man. These days, Rob Liefeld, like for me, he's like that old aging defenseman. You're just taking up a spot. There's a kid coming up in the farm who needs some games and all that. Like, why on earth would you give him 30 goddamn covers, right? When there's just so many like talented kids out there right now that can just knock it out of the park. Like, he doesn't need any more exposure. He doesn't need like the paycheck. He doesn't need to he doesn't need like the grooming. So I don't know. My patience is really that. Rob's observations have it's ruined my childhood.
Just that it's called observation.
Yeah,
every time you say it, it's the funniest, but the best thing I've ever heard.
It's like I was actually excited. This is before his podcast. When I listened to it, when he got announced to do that Snake Eyes series, right? I'm like, great. I love G.I. Joe. Love Snake Eyes. Let's have at it. I'm like 2 issues in. I'm like, what am I fucking doing? And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And then after listening to his whatever ranting, I'm like, nope, cancel it. Took it off my pull list. And so one thing someone mentioned something about. I think Sergio was saying, an artist doing a superhero but less superhero-y. What do you guys think about like when they get like an overly stylized artist, right? I guess I'm referring to the Wonder Woman 1984 cover, Robin Eisenberg. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if this comes through. Do you guys remember this cover?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Do you remember when it came out? Man, she got so much venom.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely, and it's funny because like I never knew about her until I saw the preview. And I'm like, this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First of all, because it's somebody unique.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't corporate illustration, right? Like this was just a fresh voice, right? And I guess I was also hyped about the movie too, right? Because of the whole Blue Monday trailer, right? And then the movie's another thing. And I was so excited to, I grabbed a copy of this book. I told everybody I could about this book, and and I started diving into her work, and I love her to death, and just to see the backlash, from these collectors or a lot of them were like old school guys, right? And they just couldn't fathom having something like this on the racks. And those were some of the comments, like, how dare this be up next to
that's crazy
so and so and so and so, and you're soiling the legacy. And
the funny thing is it reminds me of one of the people Sergio mentioned. It reminds me of Alexis Zerett's art, and it's phenomenal. It really nails that VHS cover from the 1980s, early 90s look that you probably want with something that's called Wonder Woman 84. I don't see why anybody would bitch about that. You know what I mean? It looks
but why is it? But why would she get
appropriate?
Flack? She got so much flack, but someone like Peach Momoko is put on a pedestal. She got Demon Days, she got a full series, and her books are like whatever.
But we're also talking about a visual medium where unfortunately a large group of consumers are expecting to see a certain aesthetic, a certain body type. And if it wanders from what they're expecting, then it's going to be vitriolic and discussion. And I've seen it way too many times. Unfortunately, it's something that it doesn't even surprise me.
No, that's the nice thing about the indies. The indies, though, it's like people are like, well, it's an indie. They're allowed to do that. No one cares.
But
as soon as you cross that threshold,
that's America's woman. Like, you can't show her, unbecoming to their
come on. She looked great in those mom jeans. Come on.
But it's sad.
They were comfy too. So I'm just like, no, girl, I'm with you.
But it's sad.
The same hair texture and everything. Let's go.
It's sad. It just illustrates how far we are from, like, in the big two. Like, how they're so stuck.
Yeah.
Like, into the mold. That when something comes in that's different, that like you'd see it in a million indie comics that like like you said, God forbid you should try to bring this into like a big two book. But why?
Yeah,
Why
I
would
can
you
see that as
not
an A
want something
cover for a
different?
scout
Yeah.
book. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can see
Look
that as
at
an A cover.
Dirtbag Rapture. The main
Yeah.
character's got that exact same body type, that look, and nobody bats an eye. But because
Yeah.
it's Wonder Woman, these
Well,
old
but it was just a
heads,
variant though. Like it's just a
yeah,
variant off of like a
Yeah.
limited run. Like I
that's
could not
the crazy
understand.
part. It's not like they're
It's
changing the character. Like that's her appearance moving forward, right? Then I can
yeah.
see maybe some discourse there, but like it's a variant cover, my dude. Like,
And
what
it's
do you
weird
guys bring
because
up in art?
I'm very like I'm very much open to different interpretations. Like even like I know there's always controversy whenever Spider Woman is drawn. Like, oh, your
Mhm.
legs can't flex that way, your body
Yeah,
can't move
yeah.
that way. And to me, I appreciate the art style because to me, like it's iconic. So the
Mhm.
poses that they do put her in, to me, I'm like, oh no, that's just Spider Woman. Like I don't even look at it sexually like that. Like a lot of times people will complain, like, oh,
Mhm.
we should be drawing her this way. Like women can't move that way. And I'm like, it's a variant. Don't buy it. Don't buy it if
Well,
you're not into it.
Silver Surfer Black got a little bit of flack too.
Which one?
Silver
Track
Surfer
because of
Black,
Shadmore.
like it was like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like that was a
the line?
really stylized book. Like you know,
Mm-hmm.
outside to inside, it was like you know, it was pretty trippy. I remember like a lot of guys were complaining about that, but
Or when
Oh
people
yeah,
I
on
confuse
my
wasn't a
the
fan
variant
of
covers
that
for
look.
what the
Yeah.
inside art is supposed to look like. And I do think that that's just like a rookie mistake, but people take it personal.
Well, one of my favorite artists, yeah, he got trashed for his run that he just finished doing on uh, Harley Quinn, Riley Rossimo, and I think his art was incredible in that. But everybody hated it because he didn't draw Harley super sexy because he's got
Mm-hmm.
this kind of odd cartoon style. But I thought that it was a wonderful, wonderful rendition of Harley, and
Mm-hmm.
it's probably some of Riley's best art. I mean, because usually he keeps it this kind of weird indie, kind of almost scratchy looking art. But it was really cleaned up, really streamlined for Harley Quinn, and
Mm-hmm.
people just couldn't accept it, and he got forced off the book on what, issue 8, Joe?
Well, I think there was no. He's back because I think it was
Oh, is
just
he?
yeah, it was a break. So they got another artist like they do sometimes. I think to come in to do like a mini arc, like 2 or 3
Oh,
issues.
okay.
But I think in the previews, I just noticed he's back on the book in the latest previews. So yeah,
Will people be hating on Thad Moore? Like, I got anybody that trashes Thad Moore is going to get trashed by me, man. Luther Strode's probably one of the coolest looking comic books that's ever come out. End of story. So, you guys want to get into our favorite
covers.
variants of all time?
yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, Adrian, hit us.
You got some photos? Oh, you got some photos.
Okay,
how we doing
first
this?
up,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
we
there we
got
go.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
do like
yeah.
that.
Oh my god! So the Andrea Sorrentino. This is second printing. So I remember I asked Joe, I'm like, does this qualify? And I just remember looking at this. This is one of those like covers that it's like you could almost like when I look at it, it's like I can almost hear like a low rumble, you know, of the background. It's just it's an image that just moves, you know. It's got sound to it, I guess, right? Even the way she's drawn too, right? Like you know, like the muscles underneath, like her breasts and that. Like, it just looks. There's just something really, I don't know, like I don't know. It's just a gorgeous cover. It's better than the original, like the first print.
It's very moody and moving. I agree.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it looks like something like bad happened right before this
Mhm.
picture was taken. You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't
there's
even
way
associate
to
it with Captain Marvel. Yeah.
The
Well,
aftermath.
and this whole the storyline, yeah, the last Avengers storyline. I like Captain Marvel is one of the series I still have on my pull list, and I just like the last Avenger run was just great, especially like the box costume, which I would just like die if they actually had that in the live action. So to see a representation like this, it's just a really gritty, moody, grossly underrated cover. I mean, it's just you can get this for next to nothing really online. It's out there. You know.
That's dope.
I just saw the ridiculousness of this. It's just like Mary Jane taking on Mephisto. Okay, it just kind of seems like a cover that a couple of like guys are just like high and they're just kind of like throwing out storylines, right? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what have I got? Acme, slits like, I don't know, whatever. It's just, like I don't know, I am a sucker for homage covers. And this one was, I got a note here, Dave Williams. It's just a silly cover. Yeah.
Hey, let me just Mary Jane she's the new Punisher now in Marvel, or?
Oh man, the outrage behind that would be so insane. You would know about it, dog. Like honestly, if it did happen,
okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Like, what's going on here? I'm like, that's crazy, yo. Okay.
Diversification, right?
Wow.
The Ultra Mega 1 variants. I just this book. This is like again, this is like where like the cover meets like the interior. And I don't know. I guess like for me, like as an artist, I just love like it's like the background is like just like it feels like a less is more kind of thing, right? Like I just love like the big bright red, the beacon in the back. James Herron, Dave Stewart. I almost wish that this was like a version cover. This could this could have really done without the text, but this series, I don't know. It's funny with this series. Actually, I read a review by this one person, and she went off about how this is like.
Yep.
Yeah, we
do you guys know what I'm talking about?
We've talked about this book several times, and we went over that controversy pretty thoroughly.
It was like basically like like how this is like an anti female book. Like it was just this whole
really.
Yeah, I'm reading it, and it's funny. It's like because I just read it and I loved it so much. I'm like, I'll check out this review, and then it's like afterwards, I'm like, should I be reading this? Like I felt guilty owning this book. Like should I take it back? Like I don't know what to like. It was this.
But did you read it? Did you read her bio on Twitter?
Yeah, I like. Yeah,
that explains everything. She had, I don't know if she's had a run-in with James Herron, but she wrote that like she had a bone to pick with him, or
this was personal, or either she had a bad day, or
it felt personal. Yeah,
that review reminded me. So on Enemy online, the UK music magazine. So a few years ago, they did a review of Placebo's album at the time. Do you guys remember Placebo?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So they gave this album 0 out of 10, like 0 out of 10, right? And it was just like, I'm like thinking, could they have given like at least one? Like I'm sure it was in tune, like you got a marking for that. But it was such a personal review. So obviously this guy had had a run-in with the band. But anyway, that's what it felt like with this review. I just thought this was just, I'm not gonna say it was unprofessional. It was just like,
oh man,
I don't know.
Find it now, she
was really reaching. Like she was really reaching, with it, right? Like, when she's talking about the one scene where the mother is holding up the baby and like she's getting engulfed in like the blood or whatever and that was bad for some reason,
somebody DM me the link.
But the superhero died before she did. I don't know how she missed that part. But
she said there was fridging, but the main protagonist wasn't influenced by her death because he died before she did. So that wasn't a motivation in the book. Anyway, so like there's a lot of things, and she misquoted something about religion in it as well. Someone corrected her on that. So there's a lot of holes, and
honestly,
I really
after
Ultra Mega #1, and I bought it off the cover, and I would buy it off of this cover if I had seen it.
This cover is lovely, man. That white really just makes the red scream, and I don't like white really too much on artwork, but right here, that negative space just really helps out what is there.
Look up the Lee and Yuck Devil's Reign variants. Because it's like predominantly white background, right? So it's Daredevil basically entwined with Kingpin, and Kingpin's got the whites. Kingpin's got the white suit as well, and it's just again too, it's playing with
Oh,
like the
stop
negative
it!
space.
It's so good. It's so good. The Devil's
But it's
Reign.
funny. It's funny after reading the review, that girl's review, that totally got in my head when I was writing like my first 2 issues, because like I have a female character and she doesn't show up till the end, and she's very angry and all that, and I kept thinking like, am I writing her wrong? Right? Do I know how to write a female character? And I'm thinking like, what's this? What's if she reviews it? What's this review going to sound like? Like she really got my dome. After that.
As an experienced woman, I could say that I did not feel like the appearance of her felt misplaced or too late. I felt like for the revelation in the story, it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Anybody reviews Trakovi like that, like Ultra Mega was reviewed, just tell them to keep the staples, Adrian. All right.
You know what? I should have actually included like a little packet of staples in the.
That would be a good. Yeah, that would be a good little perk. Cracker Jack toy for the Kickstarter.
Bloody staples. Yeah.
Sergio, you up, brother? You ready?
Yeah, sir. Let's do this.
Alrighty, first up.
Okay. That's the main man, Ken Lashley. He's a Toronto cat, and this is Something is Killing the Children 11 story exclusive. When I saw this was like an immediate, like, I had to have this. Just crazy, and it's a virgin, no text. So I'm a sucker for a nice, colorful, kind of very detailed cover. So this was this was eye catching for sure. Love
the background,
eh?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, buddy.
How much does it sell for?
I think this one I copped it for, I want to say maybe 20, 25 bucks. It wasn't too bad. 20, I think 25.
Yeah,
Nice.
his covers are usually 20.
Yeah, it was reasonably priced. It wasn't too bad. Yeah.
I'd actually pay that for that.
It's
glorious,
it's dope, man. Yeah, I dig it. Yeah. Now what are they actually selling for on the aftermarket? It's Something is Killing the Children. So, it's probably close to 70 or 80 for this one. But
well.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Something is Killing the Children variants is like there's always like some subtle detail in the background. There's always like a little like Easter egg. You got to like, it's like if you go, if you go on your stack of like variants, if you kind of look through them, you're gonna find something new every time. I find.
Yeah. Like that's insane, man. I love it.
Yeah, that's well done. Yeah.
This one here, this is one of my favorites, man. I love it. It's just a simple image, like the old classic 1940s. What's the saying go? Can leap tall buildings, right? That's what he's doing. This one here is by Adam Hughes, and man, I love it. It's gorgeous. For Superman #4 from the Bendis run, so I believe this came out 2020. Not too old. Actually, he was cool enough. Adam Hughes. He sent me a print of this. He signed it for me. Actually, I think I got it here. Let me see if I can grab this for you guys. I got it framed and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
I love it, man. And then he signed it there at the bottom.
That
Adam Hughes,
guy
man.
is
He's
beautiful.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, what's funny with Superman? It's like, let's be honest. Like Superman really isn't like it's not a hot title anymore. You know what I mean? Like like who's no one's reading the books, right? And all that, and people always complain how boring or whatever. But every time you see like a Superman image like this, it's like you get goosebumps, right? It's like whenever you see like like the last like the Man of Steel trailer, you just get goosebumps. It's amazing how it's like people complain how boring Superman is and how whatever not, but man, when you see stuff like this, it really shows you that honestly, like pound for pound, he is still like like the greatest comic character ever created, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, he just
that's a good point, Adrian. You know, you get the goosebumps, the chills, right? You know, like
yeah,
Superman's
the
first
reminder.
flight.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and he
or
just needs that story, and you know, I'm still waiting for that writer to come along and to do something like Superman 78. I've really enjoyed, but that's probably more so
Mhm.
because of a nostalgia thing for me.
For sure, for sure.
But I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen. Like it's around the corner. He's gonna have a big comeback of some sort, and I'm
Mhm.
all for it. You know, like stuff like
Have
this is
you
just
have you read Patrick Gleason's and Peter Tomasi's Rebirth run on Superman? That was
no,
fantastic.
yeah,
Oh man, if you're waiting for Superman, check that out, man. That run is like it's an all timer. I could say like a top five Superman run all time.
okay,
So really good, really good. Yeah, yeah. This one here, Jenny Frison.
Jenny Frison,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, I've got this one up on my wall. I got it framed. Love, 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 love it, man. Like this is just, it's gorgeous, and when it's the printed book looks just like it does here. There's no loss of kind of like
Mhm.
there's nothing lost in translation when it was printed. It just pops, man. It's so gorgeous. Uh, this is one of the so we were talking about virgins earlier, and sometimes
Mhm.
I wish as a collector, as an art lover, that there was no text, no nothing. This one never came in a virgin. I always wish that it was like printed or something like that. Just fantastic, gorgeous stuff. Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised if they came out with a like the poster books they come out for
Yeah.
certain cover artists. I
For
wouldn't be
Yeah.
sure.
surprised if Jenny Frison gets one.
she
Oh,
has to
deserves it,
absolutely.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Oh
this is
yeah,
this is just I love it, man. Can't say enough
Mhm.
about it. Yeah.
Her covers
Yeah.
for Justice League Dark were amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
for everything because I think I started rereading Catwoman just because of her bees.
yeah.
Yeah. Those are nice covers too. Yeah. Yeah. She's awesome. And last, yeah, this is Something is Killing the Children 12. Again, Ken Lashley, otherwise known as Lead Killer. Another store exclusive. I love this one just as much as the other, if maybe more.
Yeah,
Just
those the red it just pops, eh?
man,
Mhm.
it's something like a horror movie poster almost, right? Just love this, man. Yeah,
And also
can't get
to
enough
the
of it.
simplicity of Erica's. You'll actually will really like like the bandana. That's really all it is. Just the bandana. Just that one
Hmm.
little simple article of clothing, and man, that's what I love about Something's Killing the Children covers, like variant covers, especially. It's
Hmm.
Hmm.
like you can do so much with that look.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's the mystery, the danger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's definitely a solid design choice to give her that mask. That's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
monster here. He reminds me of the Dark Overlord from the Howard the Duck movie, which you don't see people rip off too often. So it's kind of cool to see that he actually like stole that monster design.
My man, I never made that connection, but I don't know if I'll be able to unsee that now. Yeah, how would the duck? A classic,
Yeah.
man.
Oh shit! I watched that movie a lot when I was a kid.
Same. I love it. Oh man, you just fucked me up, Johnny. Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. Those,
that's
those are my favorites, man. Yeah.
hell yeah. All right, Ellie, let's see what we got for you. First up, we got
So this is the Richard Pace "We Don't Kill
Oh.
Spiders" #1. And initially there was supposed to be a signing, right, Serge? And I asked him, I said, "Can you get him to sign it nipple to nipple?" Because I thought it would be funny.
Oh man. Man.
But this is I love this cover. Like, I love it when you can see emotion in a picture, like you were saying, Adrian, in the Captain Marvel cover, and like
Mhm.
I could see, like I saw her inhaling in this, like a
Mhm.
quick breath, and I just love this cover so much.
Yeah.
I
And
can
I
just
think his
picture.
work. I think the only thing I haven't been like 100% behind him on is the black bag cover for the Tron homage on Money Shot. I didn't really care for that one, But I think overall his work is like super solid. And this one is the one where I was like, no, like absolutely, this is
Well,
fantastic.
that kind of goes into what Serge was talking about with Bramijo. Is I when I think of Money Shot, I never think of Richard Pace. When I think of
Yeah.
Richard Pace, I think of something like gory. Something like
Mhm.
this. Hot chick, spider, monster. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Mhm.
he's good
Yeah.
at. Bunch of people
Yeah.
in goofy suits having sex with aliens. Like you're kind of like
Well,
Richard needed money. That's cool. He needed beer.
and it
That's
was like
He
a
needed
weird
beer.
the penis was weird on it. I don't know. It just wasn't like how I want to
that's
see
what
my
did it. I
penises drawn.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It wasn't girthy
Goofy
enough
Padinger.
Yeah, it
for her
wasn't
liking.
girthy. More, he was clearly not like that's
Look
not
at
your element. Draw boobs. Don't.
look at Al body shaming now about how a guy's penis looks.
Wow.
Look, sometimes you have to. Like if you're gonna draw it, draw it. Like let's be real. But it's like
Actually,
you
I
don't
am
want to draw it.
surprised. I actually am surprised that it did have the nipples for some reason. I'm not opposed
Yeah.
to it, but I'm just saying I'm a little surprised they actually cover.
It's like she's scared and horny at the same time. So
It's pretty racy for a scout. Like they're not as safe spacey as Vault, but they don't usually get too raunchy with their stuff. So yeah, I
well,
remember
this
with
is Black
Adrian. It's a little,
Caravan too.
It's
So
it's got more of an indie feel. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, super.
Yeah.
it's a
So,
Kickstarter where
Scared and horny. It checks all the boxes for Al.
Checks it for me. I'm in.
Wow.
they just feel that light breeze.
That's a good choice, although. That's top. Honestly, this is.
Oh, and Sergio is the
Oh.
one who had the exclusive on it, and I got it from him.
There you go.
go. I mean, I wasn't.
A little
that-
tiny plug. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay. I
okay,
got
cool.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Much
I got
appreciated.
you.
No. But in all
Teamwork.
seriousness, this is like
hmm
this is in my top 5 for the year, man. It's just I love it.
And it's a
man.
simple color palette too. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
black, red, and purple. You know?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope,
Yeah.
man.
Do you guys prefer that actually, like with your bearing cards? Like prefer more like simplistic positions, or do you like the over the top? Kind of barnyard explosion.
It really depends on the book. I find the book,
Yeah.
the
I can go for
character,
both.
yeah.
if it fits, it ships. Yeah, I'm with Joe.
Yeah.
So this
Wow.
is the Evan
Mm.
Cagle, Layla Death number 4. I mean Layla Death, Layla Star,
Yeah.
Layla Star number 4.
Man.
This was a 1 in 25. Well, it's a D cover. 1 in 25 was the Virgin, and I did get this. I said, Sergio, don't ever talk to me again unless you get this book for me. And he pulled through, and I'm obsessed with this. I have it on my wall in like a floating frame. I love it so much.
It's man. Yeah, this is the one
Nice.
per store.
hmm
Oh, the
Yeah.
one per store. Okay.
The one per store. Yeah.
You can just hear the traffic, on the street,
Yes,
kinda
and
like
I tell
deep-
everybody that.
Yeah.
I always lead with that with Layla. As soon as you start
Yeah.
reading it, you hear the Mumbai traffic. You could hear
The
it
day-to-day.
as you read.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something nice
Adrian.
about, Good.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, have you read Layla?
No,
Star?
no,
My man,
no. This like
very much you get that feeling. You hear the sounds of the streets where this book takes place. You
Yeah, this
smell
reminds me of,
everything. Yeah. It's
reminds me
great.
of Carmen a lot. Like right away, that's the first book that came into mind.
Carmen is
But I
great.
love.
Wow, you
Yeah.
just did something for Sergio. You don't even know.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
no, I love this. Great cover.
Yeah.
Again, too, another simple color palette, right? It's not like in your
Yeah.
face. Gorgeous.
And
Really
just
nice.
the allusion to her, being death in her former state with the arms and stuff. Like it's so subtle, but it's so good. Like obsessed. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's dope.
And it's not a straight up like superhero, whatever, right? It's just it's like almost it looks like an everyday illustration.
hmm For sure.
Yeah, you got to look to see the arms in the shadow. You know what I mean? It's not something that you get like first glance. You got to actually kind of look to see it, and yeah, that's kind of a cool little thing that the artist did with that.
It's dope.
Death of Layla Star is the title.
Oh, the many deaths of Layla Star.
Many deaths of Layla Star.
Many deaths of Layla
Rom
Star.
V.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was, what was it? Boom, right?
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the store exclusive for
Ah.
Black Cape Comics for Bunny Mask #1,
Mhm.
Ingrid
This is
Gala.
cool. That's cool.
It did
Yeah.
come in a set. They were the black and white versions and then the colored versions. I think Ingrid works best in black and white, and this is hands down like one of my favorite covers of not only the year but ever, because I think she really captures like the softness of like femininity in her work.
Mhm.
And even though she's scary, there's like a vulnerability that she was able to portray in it, in all of her
Yeah.
covers, because she did all four. She did covers for all four, and
Yeah.
I just love this. Yeah,
I love Bunny Mask. I love Bunny
Yeah.
Mask.
yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. I ordered the variant. I just brought it up here. Yeah, I ordered the Nathan. How do you pronounce his name? Serdy? SZERDY.
Oh yeah, I know it. Sure, yeah, I know who you're
Okay,
talking about.
so he had a variant of issue 1, and I got it in the mail, and it looked like it was like printed like and photocopied, and it was really out of focus and that,
Hmm.
and it was horribly produced, right? Like on screen and on the preview, it looked fantastic. But when I got it, it was so blurry, and like the printing was so cheap and all that. I remember I wrote Aftershock. I'm like, hey, like, is this legit? Is this how it's supposed to whatever? And
Oh,
which is probably why they haven't got back to me on Trakovi, right? So they're probably like,
Right.
nope, fuck that guy. So I contacted the shop that I ordered from, and he's like, yeah, I've got a lot of response on this too. He goes, maybe they're just trying to like come up with a vibe. I'm like, what fucking vibe is that? Like, you know, like
No,
was,
and you know what?
it's,
And this is Bunny Mask came out around the time I was burnt off of Ice Cream Man, and Something is Killing the Children. So I said, I'm gonna pick one cover, right? And then I found
Yeah.
out that Ingrid was doing all four covers, and I said, perfect. I'm gonna stick with Black Cape. I'm only gonna get her variant covers for it, and anything I come across other than AB has to be organic. Like, I'm not doing that
Yeah.
again. And
Yeah.
so I was able to come into some ambassador covers and some other stuff organically, but Ingrid's covers are the only ones I sought out on release dates. And
it's a great
none of them are
character.
disappointing. They're so good. Her covers are so good for her.
Yeah,
I think
this is a character like.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh no, like I was saying, sorry. This character is like, it's so easily accessible, like to make a gorgeous cover, like Erica Slaughter, right? You know, just simple, just like, regular street clothes, and just like off the rack, Party City Bunny Mask, and just
Yeah, for sure.
hey,
And I
Adrian,
appreciated.
who was
Go
the
ahead.
artist on that cover you're talking about there?
What's
Nathan Zerdy.
Zerdy? CZE. Yeah.
SZERDY.
Okay.
So it's the 1F cover. Like bring up my
Number
phone.
one.
Like it's gorgeous, right? Like, the background, and there's so much going on to it. You can tell that this guy put in like,
Is that the one?
count. Yeah, that's it. So it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, so like I said, fantastic, right? You get it, and it looks like, honestly, it looked like somebody photocopied it.
Really?
Like the printing is absolutely ridiculously low tech. It's like
quality. Yeah.
You might have sent me down a rabbit hole, no pun intended, because his number 3 cover is fantastic, and it's only $14.99 on eBay. So
there might be a reason why it's so low.
I know, but look at it. Go.
Yeah,
look at
that's
it.
dope, yo.
That is
I
so
love that.
good.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Wow, dude.
yeah,
That's sick.
yeah.
And see, this
Yeah.
is exactly why I said no horse blinders. I'm only getting Ingrid's covers, but see, now I have to fuck around and
Bunny Mask is one of those titles that I want to collect every single issue, right? Every single cover. But because of that one sour taste, I'm like, I'm reluctant to pull the trigger, because it's just like I'm still kind of Unless
gotta
Shaw
say,
calls me and gives me a deal.
I think that's what it does. The picture does look kind of like low. It looks
Low
pixelated,
res,
right?
yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
that
it
was
just it looks like it was like a 72 DPI. They're like, fuck it, print it. It's fine, right? So that's it. That's what this cover was.
Yeah.
The editor, quality control, it just said, fuck it. That's what it was. Let's just do it. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Maybe they wanted it to look like it was caught on like digital video, because that's what it kind of sounds like. It looks like, right? Like it's shot on low quality video.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Very much
I
like
grew up.
that.
I grew up with shitty videos, and that's not a shitty video. That's a shitty photocopy job. So,
Aftershock, if you're listening.
We love you, Aftershock. This is. But everybody screws the pooch every now and then. So I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah. Last but surely not least, Ellie.
This is the Shintaro Kago cover for Haha. I honestly can't remember what number, but I love Shintaro.
Yeah, he's demented. He is so wonderful.
Yeah, I learned about him. I was like, got super into Junji Ito over the pandemic, obsessively so. And then I was like, let me find other, twisted, manga styles and stuff like that. And so I came across Shintaro, and then I noticed he started doing American comics covers. And funnily enough, me and Sergio interviewed Christian Dabari and Kiarn. How do you say his last name?
Kieran Tagan.
For Tales Told in Technohar, and they have a cover from Shintaro, and they were like, we didn't even know he was doing it. And I was laughing because when Shintaro advertised it on his Twitter, he said American comic book cover. He didn't know the name of it. I didn't know it. So I'm like, when I saw this cover, it made me laugh because I'm like, does he even know what he's doing?
Nice. This is issue 4.
Okay, yeah.
I'm afraid of clowns in real life, and this is utterly terrifying to me. I mean, he nailed what he was going for. This is
this is great.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
What book is this?
Haha.
Oh, haha. Oh, okay.
And I don't like patterns. Like, what is the word? Tryptophobic. I don't like holes. I don't like repeating items. I don't like any of that. But when I saw this, I was like, no, like, I have to have this. Like, it transcends that phobia for me.
That's nuts. That's crazy. Yeah.
And I do have it above my bed. So I look at it every night like, thank you, going to bed now.
There's a total of 92 covers of Haha over six issues. 92.
I have
Jeez.
That's a lot.
I didn't do all that. I
That's
got this one, and then I got the Killer Clowns from Outer Space homage, and I think those are the only ones that I got. I didn't even go crazy on this title at all.
Oh my god, this is insane.
I'm gonna make this go away so I can sleep tonight, okay?
But I think Ice Cream Man 24 is the most single issues I've bought for a single title. I probably have like 14 or 15 covers for 24.
That's insane.
And that's when I knew I had a problem, and I stopped.
It's like those Alex Ross Timeless covers, right? That came out last year. I remember it's like every week, I would have like 2 or 3 of them in my profile, and it's like I remember going to my guy there. I'm like, this has to stop. I can't do this anymore, right? Of course, I got all the damn covers, right? Because you get to a point where there's no turning back. I gotta have them all, right?
No, exactly. And I still haven't gotten them all. I'm still waiting on some 24s, and 25 is already out. 26 is about to drop, and I'm still waiting on 24 covers.
Yeah, you start to question yourself. You're like, why am I doing this, right?
For this show, I looked it up and I said, let me get a ballpark range of how much I've spent on Ice Cream Man this year. And you know what? It's embarrassing. I don't even want to say it, but it's definitely, upwards of $600. And it's embarrassing. And if my husband is watching this, that was a joke.
Better than spending that much money on the ice cream truck. So, I mean.
Shit.
Man, embarrassing.
As you should be.
Joe, you ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned before, this is the Walt Simonson incentive or no hidden gem. I don't know if it was an incentive or hidden gem variant for Beta Ray Bill #1 by Daniel Warren Johnson for Marvel, and the shop got it for me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, if you can get this for me, because I always order my books 2 months in advance, I was like, keep that one on the side. I was like, he knows my price range, so he's like, I'll check to see what it goes for. He's like, yeah, we can do $30. So I got that one for $30, and like, I don't regret it because
he wanted to charge 31.
Maybe he did, but whatever.
I actually have the original Thor comic that this is based off of.
Yeah,
the cover.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to get this. Like, for me, this has, like, it's the creator of Beta Ray. He's doing a variant cover for his mini series. I was like, I gotta have it, and the shop came through. It's just rare because I have a small shop, so I was lucky it was a Marvel book, because if it was an indie book or something, I probably would have never gotten it, because I'm one of the only guys that orders indie stuff through my shop. So like, he
it's a
rarely
great
goes
issue
over.
too.
Yeah, that's a great series. If people, you know, Daniel Warren Johnson, man, he nails it every time. So yeah. So I just love if I could go meet him at a convention. I'd just get him to sign it, and that would just cherry on the top, man, if I could get him to sign it. Yeah. Next up. Oh, yeah. This is Swamp Thing #5, I believe. Brian Bolin. When I saw this, right away, I went and checked to see, is it a ratio? Is it and to my joy and pleasure, it was a B cover. So I only had to pay like $5 for it, which is awesome. And I almost did a little dance in the living room when I found out it was a B cover. I was like, I'm getting it for sure.
Canadian,
like, it brings me joy. It brings me so much joy when you get a great variant, just like a B, C, D, like, of this quality. I love it. And Brian Bolin, like, you know how he does covers. He just nails them, right? And this is no exception. He just kills it on this cover.
The Swamp Thing B covers have been dope on ROM.
Very good. Art Germ does some that are really good. Yeah, man. The B covers, I preferred the B covers on this series than the main A cover. Yeah, nothing against Perkins. He does a good job, but the B covers have been great.
They got the spice. Yeah, Bolin's been great since he worked on Judge Dredd, man. Like, he is just iconic.
Yeah, he's a legend, man. Anytime a legend does a variant cover of something, you got to take notice. And like, sometimes you'll be like, oh, you could see, like, this guy's from the 80s, but man, his stuff is so solid. Like, he was great back then, and his stuff is still great to today's standards. Like, this cover holds up to anything. Anything you see out there. So, like, I mean, love it. It's great. And it's a cardstock cover, which I freaking love. All right, this is the guy I was talking about earlier is Dan Hip. Yeah. Like, I love his stuff. If you go on Twitter, you can see his stuff. He's got more of a cartoony style, which is, I don't mind. I was talking to Fulci earlier, and I said it's kind of like a cross between maybe a James Stocco and Scotty Young, like, in the vibe. Because it's not as maybe gritty and dark as a James Stocco, but it has a kind of that style. But he brings, like, the vibrant energy and style and fun and the vibrant colors of maybe like a Scotty Young brings to his covers, which is a fun, playful style that, you know, gives off like that indie style, which
he still nails that Simon Bisley look, though. I mean, it looks like looks like Bisley art, though, at the same time, which is incredible.
He nails that grittiness, but he adds like the vibrant colors with a little more of a cartoony, fun feel to it. But I love the amalgamation of the two styles together.
And this one great. Specifically, that he was able to catch the vibe of the characters so well. Because even though this isn't the same art in the inside, this is very much the same vibe on the inside of the book. Like,
and the other thing that the shop came through, they weren't sure if they're going to be able to get it for me because it's
variant team.
It's a team variant, but and it's a foil cover, which I'm a sucker for.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a foil cover, so yeah, I love this one. This one's great. This is probably my favorite cover of the year.
This is a foil cover?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And man, you know we love pink here on the Pink Buzz. So you got
Yeah.
the pink in the background, man.
What's
So
great
I
about
figure,
your picks is I know I could find them for under 30. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, let me,
Yeah.
let me go
Yeah.
over this one.
What kind of
Bargain
reaction
bin
did this
Joe, man.
cover get?
Bargain bin Joe, man. You just, you know.
What kind of reaction did that cover get?
Almost none. Like neutral.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like people
really.
didn't praise it. People didn't hate it. It just kind of.
Joe, you're the only
Kinda-
other person I know who's
Yeah.
been keeping up with Crush and Lobo.
Crush? Yeah, man. I love that series.
It's so good.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's just a fun book. Really fun read.
Mm.
Yeah. And if Dan Hip, if they gave him a Lobo or a Crush like
I would
miniseries,
absolutely off of that.
I would
cover,
jump on that. Yeah.
absolutely.
I would jump on that in a second. Like same thing. If James Stocco did a Clown Hunter book, I'd jump on that in a second.
I would jump on. Well, no, I don't want to say it like that. But Clown Hunter, I would absolutely buy. He's a minor, chill, and I would absolutely buy. And because that one-off was so good, and I don't think I have heard many people talk about it, but oh, it was so good. I would read it. If they gave him his own run, I would read it absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are my three.
Well,
Good
first up
picks.
for me, we have the cover by Alana Usovo. This is for Wayward #1. This is actually the first book that was on the shelf. I didn't know it was a variant when I got it, but it is actually what got me into the book, and it was one of my favorite Image titles at the time. I really loved the anime-esque style to the writing that Jim Zub did. I love the character that's on the cover, Ayane, and I don't know. I just think the colors and just the motion of the cover itself is just one of the most lovely things I've ever looked at. I've always enjoyed this since I've picked it up. It's just clean and lovely. You know what I mean? No other.
I always appreciate when like they have when the outfit is well thought out. You know, you can tell like they really plan the outfit, right? Like I'm like a t-shirt,
pastel Lisa Frank.
Yeah, just like the detail, the frills, like the belts and all that too, right? Like I'm like a t-shirt and jeans kind of whatever, right? I don't really spend much time in R&D, right, when it comes to stuff like that. So I totally appreciate that, and the background too. Like there's so much going on.
Yeah, all the different no masks in the bubbles. Yeah, it's really detailed.
Well, that face in the background too, in the top there, top center, the back to the middle. Oh, it's really nice. Yeah, it reminds me of Demon Days.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Demon Days.
Really nice.
What's that?
That's from Momoko.
That's the Marvel
her
Momoko.
Oh, that was the Psylocke book she did?
It's I think different. It's her
Momoko verse,
interpretation
I think they're calling it.
Yeah. It's her.
Yeah.
Her interpretation of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, it's a really nice series. Like it's a pretty book. Yeah.
I like her art. I thought her Psylocke was very nice, so I'll have to check out more of her Marvel work. Next up for me is the James O'Barr cover for Doom Patrol, Lotion the Cat, probably one of my favorite characters. Probably one of my favorite scenes in comics. I guess it's a little risque when him and Casey hook up. I thought it was hilarious because I did not see it coming, and I was just like, oh my God, Gerard Way, you are a sick little emo bastard. But great issue, great cover, and like everybody knows, I'm obsessed with the Crow. So seeing James O'Barr back and see him drawing one of my favorite characters of one of my favorite books that was out at the time, I had to get it. You know what I mean? And I just adore it. I love the look on his face. He reminds me of my cat Oscar, who's a little asshole. So it's perfect. Looks just like him.
Oscar with no hookup scenes, though, right?
No, Oscar don't get hooked up. He's been fixed, luckily. Elle knows what I'm doing. You read Doom Patrol. Nice, good on you. So, but yeah. This is one of my favorites. Yeah, James O'Barr, you can never go wrong, in my opinion.
I actually just started watching Doom Patrol, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, that show's
oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Killer.
Yeah.
And last but surely not least for me is the Farrell Dalrymple variant for #1, A Deadly Class. Farrell is one of my heroes of comics. I just love that he has his own style and he doesn't give a rat's ass what anybody else is doing. He's kind of got this like demonic Norman Rockwell like thing to his art. And ever since I first found Rinchies, I've just been kind of obsessed with the guy and his work. So when he did a Deadly Class cover, I was over the moon. And
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
God, look what they did with the text, right? You know what I mean? They didn't just slap on a title, you know, whatever. Like they actually like worked it into it. You know what I mean? Like that's inspiring. You know? God, I love that.
Yeah. They do that with the B covers for Darling as well. I like it when they work the text, like the artist interprets the lettering when they take it and they do the title. It's always fun.
Yeah, I still find like titles on covers. I don't know. I still find it kind of lazy at times, you know. But that's like I love the effort in that. That's really nice.
Yeah. But all right, people, that was our little journey through the wonderful world of variant covers, and I really hope you guys learned a little something from it, and you know, wade in the waters as deeply as you want to. Just realize that they might recede faster than you'd want them to. That's the only advice I have for you at this point. But have fun with it.
Don't spend what Elle spent on ice cream, man. Moral of the story.
Again.
I gotta bust your chops.
Listen, there.
Well, let's go back around and let everybody plug their stuff again. Adrian, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where to find you and all your wonderful books, because you have Trakovi up for sale now, right?
Yes, so physical copies of Trakovi 1 and 2 with Variance. You can get over at 3presscomics.ca. That's the number 3, presscomics.ca. And then I'm on Instagram and Twitter at ThinkItem and at 3presscomics. Kickstarter is done and buried, and then I am getting issue 3, should be out in about a year.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sergio, and make sure you plug your Instagram store, buddy.
Oh yeah, my man, thank you. Inserting Comics from House of Nerd Show. You know, we go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Come hang out with myself and with Elle. You know, we like to talk about the best books each week, the best parts of comic. You know, just have a lot of fun. We're goofy, we're crazy, and you know, Joey's always in the live chats. He makes it a hell of a lot of fun for us every week, man. Yeah, and then you guys can check me out on the socials. Insert name Comics on Instagram. Insert name INC on Twitter. You know, comic book plug, man. Always happy to connect you comic reading folks with good books. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, anytime, brother. Anytime.
Yeah,
Ice Cream Woman, it's on you.
Well, my name is Elle, not exactly legit on Twitter and Instagram. My Instagram is private, so don't. If you're weird, you probably won't get the accept. But only because I have pics of my kids, so like, don't be weird about it. And and I'm also a co-host of House of Nerd Show with Sergio. He blessed me with the spot. He said, "Hey, you're so cool. Please, if you don't, I don't know what I'll do." And I said, "Okay, chill. I'll do it." And so I do that.
It's true.
And you know, I've been on some Pink Buzz episodes here and there. I'm around.
Some of our best episodes where we talk about the important stuff like Taco Bell and box wine. You know what I mean?
Taco Bell,
necessities
box
of
wine,
life.
menstrual blood
man.
as a art instrument. We've talked about some stuff.
Yeah, Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Shrek, can't forget Shrek.
Yeah,
The
it
deep
spans
cuts.
the spectrum. Cover the spectrum anyway. That's for sure. It's never dull when Elle is on. Yeah. So you, like I said earlier in the show, Double Zero Joe Pocket on Twitter, I'm going to try to make an effort to be on Instagram and Facebook more, so you can probably find me there as well. Always down for talking comics and shooting the shit. So, man, just keep coming and join us on Fridays where we talk about comics all the time. We always have fun guests on, like Adrien, Elle, Sergio. It's always a fun time. And the people we invite on are always cool cats, too.
Right. And next week we have Richard Morgan. It's going to be another early show. We're going to be on at 4:00. Right, Joe?
Yep.
On Friday, we're going to have Richard Morgan, the creator of Bam and Glam. He is a hand painter.
Good book.
His covers
Chef
are
kisses.
So good.
Yeah.
Talk about covers.
And he's a character, so I can't wait to speak to him. I'm pretty sure he's almost as funny as Adrian. So yeah,
I was trying. I'm actually I'm trying to get him to. Here I am, like talking about not doing a variant cover for issue 3. I've actually asked him if he could do me a variant cover. So yeah, that the Blam and Glam, right?
Bam and Glam.
Bam and Glam. Yeah.
I got his 2 books came in last week, and my God, those are just pretty, pretty books. Yeah, really nice.
No, he's talented for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually see him. To actually put a face to or a voice to a
voice and a face to the art.
Yeah.
He's another one of the UK masters, so yeah, he's probably going to be a pretty funny guy.
You know what's funny, actually? So Richard was actually the first backer for my Kickstarter, #1, and he's like, so I'm going to receive the first shipment, right? You're going to send the first one. The way it's working out, I think he's going to be like the last I'm going to be shipping out. So I feel so bad. It wasn't intentional, but yeah.
Well, maybe he's going to tune in to kind of get a vibe for what we do here. So maybe your apology will reach him. Anyway, we'll be sure to pass it along to him if he doesn't watch tonight's episode.
I feel so bad. Yeah.
Hey, things happen, man.
But we'd like to thank everybody that was. Yeah. Right. We'd like to thank everybody that was up in the chat tonight. We had some creators. We had Aaron Reese. We had Manu. We had a couple really, really cool people. We had the regulars. We had Cookie Monster. We had my buddy Sequential Geek. We had Melissa, Goose's mom, and Horror Geek Mel. Lots of rad people. I want to thank all you guys for showing up. Anybody that's watching that doesn't know, we have a Discord. It is called the Pink Buzz Party Buzz, and if you want to invite, let us know, because it's a fun time. We post a lot of really fun stuff, and we try to keep it as clean as possible, but it's a fun time. Let's just say it like that. So if you want to be part of that, let us know, and yeah, you're invited. This is Pink Buzz. It is a product of graphic vandalism, and you know what that means. That means don't stop reading. Don't ever stop reading. Don't ever stop watching awesome movies, and don't stop supporting excellent music. Until next time, check you later, y'all.